Donald Trump and his gang of misfits, they continue to push this tired election fraud scheme over and over and over again. How he was cheated out of the 2020 election. Yes, I said 2020, that one that was over a year ago. Well, every time they keep pushing this stuff and then now saying Mike Pence had the right to overturn the election, which Trump said, it forces his minions like Navarro, Peter Navarro, to go on and have to answer this very simple question. Can Kamala Harris do the same thing? Watch.
It would follow from your contention that you think Vice President Harris will ultimately have the call over who should be president, regardless of the results in the next election?
See, you've misconstrued the whole Green Bay sweep plan. It's not for the vice president to determine who wins, okay? The only thing that Pence had the authority to do is go back to the states and let the states look at the votes. It's the states in our Constitution who have the right to decide who won an election.
But you're not answering the question. It seems like the question when you put it on Harris makes you, Peter,
to ask for a second.
Yeah, it seems like it makes you, but it seems like it's making you stretch when we just change the name from Pence to Harris. Are you holding the contention? Wait, let me finish the question. You'll get to respond, Peter. Let me finish the question.
The authority to change the election results.
Let me finish the question.
That was not the premise of our argument.
Think about what Navarro just said there. He said, Ari, you misconstrued the whole point, the whole Green Bay plan, which you should probably stop saying that was the plan. But this whole plan was to let Mike Pence send it back to the states so they can overturn the election. But actually, even if that was the case, he misconstrued that it was about the states. What did Donald Trump say again in that statement that we're talking about with Mike Pence that Navarro just said he didn't say? We don't have to read the whole thing, but all you have to understand is at the end he says, actually what they are saying is that Mike Pence did have the right to change the outcome. I didn't see anything about states in there. And they now want to take that right away. Unfortunately, he didn't exercise that power. He could have overturned the election. This isn't the first time that they said Donald Trump didn't say that explicitly right after he said that. But I mean, lying has never stopped Peter Navarro before. And in fact, he continued in the same interview.
Under your contention, Vice President Harris could take any states that her side lost and selectively send those back. That's your current contention?
If any vice president under the Electoral Count Act of 1887, if there are objections that are raised about a state's electors, the provision is that you have 2 hours of debate in each chamber, and at the end of that, you have the ability
you're an outspoken individual. Was that a yes? Because I didn't hear a yes. Is that a yes for Harris?
No, the way you frame the question is wrong. You're assuming that the vice president had the ability to determine the outcome. Wrong. All the vice president had was the ability to go back to the states to have them look at the votes.
Again, Peter probably should have told Donald Trump that. You got it all wrong, Donnie. The vice president can't overturn the election. We'll send it back to the states that are listening to you. Tell them they should overturn the election and let Mike Pence just hand it over to you, Jake.
Yeah, so a couple things here that are important. First of all, let's make the story about me. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.